Well, I've outlined the UK's approach to sanctions and the fact that we are ending our dependence on Russian oil by the end of this year, but we're also looking to achieve a timetable with the G7. We've got a meeting of the G7 later this week. I think it's very important, though, that we respect other countries' decisions about the issues that they face. You know, India is a sovereign nation. I'm not going to tell India what to do. What I've said is, as a member of the UK government that has signed up to the Budapest Memorandum, I feel a strong responsibility on behalf of the United Kingdom to take all the action we can to support the people of Ukraine. But that is not the same as going around telling other countries what to do.
Final question.
May I just add a word there?
Of course.
You know, it's interesting because we've seen for some time what looks almost like a campaign on this issue. Now, I was just reading a report today that in the month of March, Europe has bought, I think, 15% more oil and gas from Russia than it did the month before. If you look at the major buyers of oil and gas from Russia, I think you'd find most of them are in Europe. We ourselves get the bulk of our energy supplies from the Middle East, about 7.5%, 8% of our oil from the US. In the past, maybe less than 1% from Russia. When oil prices go up, I think it's natural for countries to go out into the market and look for what are good deals for their people. But I am pretty sure if we wait 2 or 3 months and actually look at who are the big buyers of Russian gas and oil, I suspect the list won't be very different from what it used to be, and I suspect we won't be in the top 10 on that list.
Foreign Secretary.
I think there's also a broader point here, which is, I've said this about Europe, that over a number of years, Europe prioritized cheap gas, cheap goods, over looking at our long-term security. And we didn't do enough when Putin invaded Crimea. We didn't do enough to involve ourselves in the Minsk agreements. And we are now seeing the result of that. And necessarily, dependency on energy or dependency on technology takes time to address. So we're now removing Huawei from UK telecoms networks, but that takes time. We're reducing and eliminating our dependence on Russian oil and gas, and that takes time. And that is also true of other countries. And the important thing for me is that the G7 set a timetable to end that dependency and send a strong signal in the market. But to say that years of policy that we have just been through, you can suddenly change it overnight. I mean, there have been some pretty remarkable changes. Germany has changed its entire energy and defense policy as a result of the invasion of Ukraine. And we need to keep doing that. I think the biggest danger at the moment is that we let our foot off the gas on sanctions, and we can't do that. We need to continue to put the pressure on Putin. We need to continue to supply the weapons into Ukraine, and we need to make absolutely sure that we don't have a rerun of Minsk, that we make sure that the sanctions are kept on, even in the event of a ceasefire, even in the event of a withdrawal of troops, because it's only when we get lasting peace that this situation will finally have been resolved.
Thank you. And before winding up proceedings from myself as moderator, just also to say very particular word of thanks today to 2 outstanding High Commissioners for their respective countries, Alex Ellis and Gayatri Issa-Kumar, 2 outstanding teams working for them indeed, who've done everything to make this possible, and both countries are very lucky to have them at this particular moment in our relationship. Thank you to them both. And all remains for me is to ask Neveta, our dear partners in the Indian Council of World Affairs, to take the stage to wind up our proceedings tonight. Thank you. Thank you to our 2 distinguished guests.
Thank you.
With